Hello everyone, it's Joe here from Draft FPL. Welcome back to a weekly series helping you find some good value free agents and waiver pickups in Draft FPL. We're back, game week 22, loads of picks coming up. Just a quick heads up, I'm going away for a week as of tomorrow, so there'll be no content for game week 23, so I'll be back in a couple of weeks. Without any further ado, let's get stuck into the picks. First up then, we've got Tosin Adarabioyo of Fulham, available in 95% of Draft FPL leagues, and that data is courtesy of draftfc.co.uk as always. Fantastic Draft FPL tool. There's a link in the description. Use code SNAKEDRAFT for 1 month completely free so you can try it out. Tosin, really good fixtures coming up for Fulham. Everton at home, Burnley away, Bournemouth at home the next 3, then Villa at home after that. Fulham probably have the best run of anyone over the next 3. I think if you can snag one of their defenders, it's a pretty good shout. Tosin's my favourite. I think Diop's pretty nailed as well, as is Anthony Robinson as well, I would have thought. Next up, we've got Nathaniel Klein, available in 100% of leagues. He's pretty much got that right back slot nailed down now. He's been starting there pretty consistently for a decent chunk of time. Sheffield United at home this week in game week 22. Sheffield United have got a lot better over the last sort of couple of months, I would say. The defence over the last 6 has improved massively. They're kind of like a mid-table defence at the moment, but the attack is still really poor. I think they're a great clean sheet opportunity anytime someone's playing them, so I definitely back Palace in this one, even though Palace's form has been a little bit shaky. They have had tough fixtures recently. The likes of Gahey and Anderson are really highly owned. So Klein is probably the best option to go for from waivers. Probably is just a 1 week punt because after Sheffield United, Brighton, Chelsea, Everton, the next 3 after that, not great you'd say, so probably just a one and done. Next up is Van Heck. I tipped him last week, but the good fixtures keep on rolling. 78% availability, Luton away, Palace at home and Sheffield United away in 3 of the next 4. Hopefully you can just bench him in that game week 24 fixture because we're looking at a really solid run for Brighton, and they have kind of turned their defensive data and performances around a little bit. Is it 3 clean sheets on the spin? I think maybe. So yeah, they're looking a lot better. They're keeping it a lot tighter, and I think Van Heck is a big reason for that because I have been quite impressed with him recently. Just a quick one as well. Andy Robertson is back fit and available, so he's pretty high ownership, but he is still available in 18% of leagues. So if he is free in your league, I definitely pick him up this week. It does also kind of signal the end of Simicas's reign of starting in the Premier League, you would have thought. I'd be very surprised if Robertson doesn't come straight back in, especially because it was a shoulder injury. You would think that his kind of fitness would still be at a high level because it's not like an injury that would have kept him out of keeping up his match sharpness. So I'd strongly suspect he comes straight back in for 22, and I think Simicas is kind of done now, unfortunately. On to midfielders. First up, we've got one of my absolute favourite picks, Willian, available in 65% of leagues. I think he's done really, really well this sort of last month or 2. I think he's probably been Fulham's best player. Played pretty well in the 2-legged semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. The next 3, Everton at home, Burnley away, Bournemouth at home, as I said earlier, are really strong. And from an attacking point of view, Villa at home is quite good as well. Villa's away defensive record is kind of nothing to write home about. So I'd expect Fulham to score in each of these next 4. And I think Willian is probably the most reliable pick in the attacking assets of Fulham to actually get consistent returns. So he's someone I'm definitely looking to pick up and hold over this period. Next up, we've got Tavernier, available in 73% of leagues. West Ham away this week, and I think there's going to be goals in this game. I think West Ham's defence is terrible. I think Bournemouth's defence is okay, but both teams are definitely better going forward than they are kind of going backwards. So I really like goals in this one. Forest at home in the next in 23, Fulham away in 24, Newcastle away in 25. I see goals in all these games for Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth are a sneaky good side. I know they've just got battered by Liverpool, but it was a pretty tight game until the 60th minute, wasn't it? So they are a better side than people give them credit for, I think. And Tavernier is definitely the most threatening player in that front line, bar Solanke. Solanke obviously is kind of picked everywhere, but if you are looking to bring someone in a trade scenario, I think it's a great time to bring in Solanke because these fixtures are really nice. Even the Newcastle game doesn't worry me at all. Newcastle's defence is absolutely terrible, even at St James's Park. So I think there's goals in all these games for Bournemouth, and Tavernier is the man that I would back most heavily. On that same note, Pablo Fornals, available in 99% of leagues, has been starting recently. There is a chance that he could miss out in this one because Kudus has been eliminated from AFCON, so he may well be available for game week 22. But with the frontline injuries and stuff they've got going on at West Ham, I still would expect Fornals to start. Paqueta's not going to be back in time, and Kudus may well start from the bench, but I think he probably will come straight back in just because of how short of options West Ham are at the moment. But I think a Fornals, Bowen, Kudus front three is reasonably likely because I'm not really sure where else they'd go. And as I said earlier, I do think there's going to be goals in this Bournemouth game. Fornals may well lose a spot in the kind of near future after that, but if you're looking for a 1 week pickup, I don't think he's a bad shout. Next up, we've got Jordan Ayew, available in 85% of leagues. Sheffield United at home this week. As I just mentioned with Kudus, Ayew has also been eliminated from AFCON, and I'm pretty sure he'll come straight back into the lineup for this Sheffield United game because Palace, like West Ham, have got absolutely no options at the moment. Schlupp has been playing out wide while Ayew's been gone, and it's not worked whatsoever. So I think Ayew will come straight back in. He's a nuisance, he's a handful, and these are the kind of fixtures that he generally does quite well in. Olise is not going to be back fit, we don't think. So it's going to kind of come down to whether Edouard, Eze and Ayew can do the business in this game. I do think it'll be quite low scoring, but if anyone is going to get points, you'd look to sort of those three to make it happen. And on that note, Eze is still available in 20% of leagues, which is mad. He is the one player for Palace that I think is an absolute must pick up. If he's still available in your league, what are you thinking? Pick him up. On to forwards, and I've kind of only really got one and a half picks maybe. Adebayo is available in 32% of leagues. The fixtures they look not great on paper, but actually when you dig deeper into them, I think Luton will probably score a decent amount of goals in this run. Brighton at home is not ideal, but it is at home, and Luton's attacking record at home is pretty good. Brighton are on a run of clean sheets at the moment. However, that historically their defensive record hasn't been great this season, so Luton could easily score in this one. Newcastle away, as I mentioned earlier, is not the fixture it has been, or certainly not the fixture it has been earlier in the season or last year. Newcastle, they may well win that game, but their defensive record is horrendous. They're almost bottom of the league in terms of defensive data. So I think that Luton could easily get a goal or two in that one. Then Sheffield United at home is a great fixture. That's going to be a really important game for Luton. Then United at home in 25. I really think that they'll score a couple in that as well. 3 home games out of the next 4 is massive for Luton. And I think this is probably a really decent time to pick up one of their forwards if you've got kind of issues in that area. Adebayo is definitely the one I'd go for if I had the choice, but he may well be gone. If not, then I think Jacob Brown is a perfectly decent pick as well. 92% availability, and as I mentioned, those fixtures, I think they're actually better than they look. Okay, that wraps up my picks for game week 22. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoy the content, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. There's Patreon content down below. Check out draftfc.co.uk, blah blah blah. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in a couple of weeks.